Godina's passion for soccer is undeniable, and that same passion has made her not only one of the best goalkeepers in the conference, but also a leader on one of the hottest teams in the country. DePaul's basketball luncheon not only gives coaches a chance to share their thoughts on the upcoming season, but also allow players to share some insight as well. Though students come to dinner on DePaul in hopes to open doors that may lead to a job in the respective field, it is the alumni who know how much events like these truly matter. Even though concussions are a growing concern in a sport rapidly growing in popularity, how does head trauma in mixed martial arts compare to other major contact sports? Panels like the one in the auditorium behind me not only educate young people about the conflicts women face in sports journalism, but also open doors for those looking to follow in their footsteps. I'm here at the red line stop where it has just been confirmed that there is a train derailment. No official word yet on what caused the train to derail, but if you're looking to head down to the loop, I suggest that you look for alternate routes.
Joseph Troiano joins us now with the latest on Blue Demon sports. So, Joe, just how good is that women's Blue Demon soccer team?
I got to tell you, Corbin, they are looking unstoppable. DePaul's women's soccer team is still on a big roll. They're stacked with talent, undefeated, and ranked 15th in the nation, looking to keep their perfect record intact against Providence.
Joseph Troiano is here now with the latest on Blue Demon sports. So, Joe, a big opener for the women's basketball team.
Yep, the Lady Blue Demons are back on the court. The basketball season has finally arrived here at DePaul. After a strong showing last year, the women's team was eager to step back on the court at McGrath Center against St. Xavier and get their 2014-2015 campaign underway. DePaul's men's basketball season is getting off to a rough start before it even begins. 6'10" junior forward Peter Reichbosch is expected to miss the entire year with an ACL tear. The Blue Demons are adding walk-ons Joe Hannell and David Molinari to the roster in Reichbosch's absence. Reichbosch played 27 games for DePaul in his sophomore year. Sports management, alumni sharing knowledge, and free food. The Alumni Center hosted an event last week to connect DePaul graduates working in sports with students interested in their field of work. DePaul's women's soccer team is having a season for the history books. They're currently ranked 7th in the nation by Soccer America. They've also received some major honors. Freshman Alexa Ben was named Big East Rookie of the Year. Captains Elise White and Rachel Pittman were named to the All-Big East first team, while Ben, Sarah Gordon, and Abby Reed made their second team. Meanwhile, the undefeated Blue Demons took on St. John's at Wish Field. Meanwhile, DePaul's men's soccer team has had an up-and-down season so far. Starting off conference play with a 3-1 victory over Seton Hall, the Blue Demons look to improve on their record with a home game at Wish Field against a crosstown rival. Finally, the club sports scene at DePaul continues to grow. It includes a sport gaining in popularity nationwide, roller hockey. Good Day DePaul's Jerica Valtiera has details. So Arlen, are we going to get a chance to see you strap on some roller skates and get out there on the field sometime soon?
I think I could take them. Thanks, Joe.
DePaul's Brittany Rinko set the tone early, draining shots from beyond the arc and getting to the hoop in transition, like here when Shanice Jenkins found Rinko with this Peyton Manning-like cross-court pass. Rinko also found easy access to the basket, penetrating to the hoop for the sweet layup between two Cougar defenders. The Blue Demons were able to find their range early and often. Here Jenkins hits a contested 3 from the baseline. Marte Graves caused one of Xavier's 38 turnovers on this inbounds pass, which led to the dish to Jenkins on the cut for 2 of her 20 on the night. From there, it was a basketball clinic, with DePaul getting whatever looks they wanted. The Blue Demons were able to drain threes from all angles on both ends of the court and turn turnovers into easy layups, like this wide-open stroll to the lane for Jenkins. DePaul would start spreading the love in the second half. Brooke Schulte hit 2 of her 4 attempts from beyond the arc, and the Blue Demons would end up going 13 for 30 from behind the 3, winning big 119-58. DePaul's women's soccer team looked to bounce back from their double overtime draw with Georgetown and stay undefeated as they went up against their conference rival, the Providence Friars. The Blue Demons brought the pressure early and often in the first half, and in the 4th minute of the game, Abby Reed set up Amber Paul for the header with this sweet cross from the right corner to put DePaul up 1-0. It took just 7 more minutes for Alexa Ben to take advantage of a penalty inside the box on Providence and sneak a free kick into the bottom left side of the net to put the Blue Demons up 2-0. The Friars were able to get on the board with just 6 minutes left in the half after a mishandle in the backfield by DePaul allowed Providence to score from just inside the box. DePaul went into halftime up 2-1. The second half was all about defense. The Lady Blue Demons were all over Providence, pressuring them at midfield and controlling possession of the ball the majority of the back end of the game. DePaul's Sarah Gordon would earn herself a yellow card midway through the second half after exchanging pleasantries with the referee over her aggressive play.
Yes, it's been a storybook season for the women's soccer team. Good Day DePaul's Joseph Triano looks into what made this team so special.
It was a season that every athletic program dreams about, summed up in one word: undefeated. DePaul's women's soccer team had a year for the history books, literally. The Lady Blue Demons ended the season without a blemish on their record, going 16-0-4 in the regular season and Big East tournament, a first in DePaul soccer history.
I couldn't even dream of this happening, ever, and when I thought about transferring, this was never even, a possibility in my head.
Abby Reed is one of DePaul's many stars. She ended the season third in the nation in game-winning goals, and believes it may have been the third game of the season against Nebraska, a game many thought they would lose, that changed it all.
I think that was such a big win for us, and we went in there knowing that we were the underdogs. And I think after we won that game, we thought that this season was going to be something really special.
Special may be an understatement. DePaul's put together a unit full of talent with 7 players earning all Big East honors. So how does a team with so much talent stay grounded?
We just have so much fun together on the field and off the field. We're always doing quirky little games before practice or just making jokes with each other, and then on the field it just turns into really great chemistry together.
That lighthearted approach helped keep the Blue Demons relaxed under the pressure of an undefeated season. It's also given Gordon a senior year she couldn't have imagined.
This season has meant the world to me. It's my senior year, and I didn't get to play last year, and so to come back and to be with such an accepting group of girls that care so much about me and care so much about the sport, and to go out and do something that DePaul women's soccer has never done before is an incredible feeling.
Incredible indeed, seeing that it's all been orchestrated by a system that Coach Erin Chastain began implementing 7 years ago when she was hired as DePaul's head coach.
If you look at the start, when she started at the program, and you look to where we are now, it's a huge improvement, and it's just unbelievable to see how well she has done with the team. A
team that Chastain has built and molded, creating a program where players can grow and evolve into one of the best teams in the country.
That's credit to her, the recruits that she's brought in, the coaching that she has given us. I know that we've all become much better players from that.
Last year, Chastain led DePaul to their best season in over a decade. This year, she's guided them to their best record ever. It was a year that brought a group of talented young women together with an outstanding head coach to have a season for the record books. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Joseph Troiano.
Rampage with a quick jab. Good left hand, Silva!
Mixed martial arts is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. It's also one of the most dangerous. Fighters must punch, kick, and grapple their way to victory with the occasional chance of being knocked out. Being knocked unconscious is just one form of a concussion a fighter may endure.
It's a gradation of injuries, and you can have a light concussion that you may not even know you have at one end of the spectrum all the way to the complete loss of consciousness.
Dr. Nick Rizzo works on the board of cage-side physicians and has seen his fair share of concussed fighters. Dr. Rizzo knows it's not just the sport that puts a fighter at risk.
Part of it depends on your training and your career history too. If a pro boxer is 40-0 and he never got touched, it's a non-issue for that individual.
Even though concussions are a growing concern in a sport rapidly growing in popularity, how does head trauma in mixed martial arts compare to other major contact sports? According to an article on nationalpost.com, a mixed martial arts fighter suffers a traumatic brain injury almost a third of his professional bouts, far more than the rate of such injuries in hockey, football, or even boxing. But fighters like 3-0 amateur fighter Rolly Baguisa feel it's just part of the sport.
I don't think you should be worried about it. I think it comes with the sport, just like any other. Football players get cussed all the time. You got kids playing since they're in high school all the way up to the pros, 10 years. These 300-pound linemen smashing against each other. Gym
owner Dominic Pantaleo knows a fighter's mentality and knows when to give his guys a rest.
These guys are warriors. They don't complain very much, So a lot of times I think these guys are getting concussions and not telling anybody. If I see it personally, it's mandatory. I'll just say, hey, night's off.
Till more fighters retire and more research is done, we cannot speculate the toll concussions take on fighters. As the sport grows worldwide, so will the questions. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Joseph Troiano.
Oh my God! Wow!
DePaul's women's soccer team has been on an unstoppable run so far this season. And one huge reason is their anchor in the backfield, goalkeeper Alex Godinez. Born in Frederick, Colorado, Godinez was bred to play soccer at a time when most kids her age were learning their ABCs.
I think soccer's always been one of the biggest parts of my life, just because I started when I was 4.
Godinez's father, an avid soccer player himself, heavily influenced her love for the game at an early age.
He'd go to Wednesday, Sunday leagues, and he'd take me with him, and I think that's where he's one of my biggest role models, so that's when I decided, wow, I want to do exactly what my dad does.
Godinez played almost every position on the field at her local YMCA, but it was again her father who influenced her future path. He would take her to practice, forcing her to play goalie, and honing the skills that would later make her one of the best goalkeepers in the nation. By age 12, Godinez decided to play goalie full-time for both her club and high school teams, and eventually earning a scholarship to DePaul University. Godinez's passion for soccer is undeniable, and that same passion has made her not only one of the best goalkeepers in the conference, but also a leader on one of the hottest teams in the country.
Obviously, when you have a year as successful as she had, I think the expectations are cranked up, and I think she's handled that pressure well and made big saves for us.
That successful year Coach Chastain referred to was Godinez's sophomore year last season. She was plugged into the starting lineup after a season-ending injury to the team's previous starter. Godinez would go on to lead the Big East in save percentage and shutouts, earning Big East Goalkeeper of the Year honors.
Now it means nothing because it's a new season, and I'll always remember that moment when I received that, but it's time to keep working for bigger and better things.
That mindset is what earned Godinez Big East Preseason Goalkeeper of the Year, and is one of the reasons why teammates look to her for guidance.
Every play, she's always focused, she's always ready for it, and I think that really helps with us. And she's not very vocal, but when she does have things to say, it really impacts us.
The Blue Demons are having a record-breaking season so far this year, and though all the praise cannot go to Godinez, she's definitely played a huge role in the team's success. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Joseph Troiano.